Yes.
Another team that looks like it belongs in the minor leagues right now, the Memphis Tigers.
Yeah.
And Penny Hardaway, listen, he brought on Larry Brown, Hall of Fame head coach. He brought on Rasheed Wallace. He brought in Amani Bates and Jalen Duren, 2 top 5 recruits that reclassified. Amani Bates, a former SI cover boy. Some thought Jalen Duren was the best player in the class. And Memphis has been atrocious for the most part here. I mean, losing to 2 teams, losing to Georgia tonight. Georgia stinks. They stink. They might be the worst team, or along with Vandy, 14A or B, whatever you want to call it in the SEC. They're terrible. And they lose to Georgia and give Tom Crean his 400th career win. They lose to Iowa State the other night in New York. And Iowa State, listen, TJ Otzelberger has done a great job so far, but they could easily be the 8th, 9th, 10th place team in the Big 12, and nobody would be surprised. So Memphis right now looks like a complete shit show. And Penny Hardaway knew before the season, this is year 4. This is year 4, Rob. There's no excuse for this with all this talent. But what he does not have, again, I go back to it because we talked about it with Michigan. If you don't have a point guard, you got no shot.
Yeah, but it's more than that. They play with such fatal flaws. Like their defense has been fantastic, and the point guard is an issue. There is no doubt about that. But, the first thing that comes to mind is the turnovers. Now, tonight, what do they have tonight? 11 turnovers. Not bad. That's okay. So they handled that. Then you think about their shooting. Tonight, they go 7 of 20 from 3, 35%, shoot 46% from the field. We're actually better than that in the second half. That's not the issue. But now you look at what Georgia was able to do. They go to the free throw line 35 times. And part of that is the tempo you're playing in. And we know they want to press. We know you want to play up tempo, but you send anybody to the line 35 times. It's insane. And then on top of that, you allow Georgia to shoot 52 and 44 in the second half. And Georgia, like you said, Jeff, is not good. They've lost 4 in a row. They lost to Wofford. They lost to Georgia Tech. They've lost to a bunch of people. I just think that Memphis can't get out of their own way. I really worry because I just think they don't do a lot of things that you need to do if you want to win against good people.
But how does this happen? You brought in Larry Brown. He's like John Wooden, isn't he?
Yeah, the players didn't change. I mean, you got 2 freshmen, but you have a lot of the same guys. Look at Michigan. They have good freshmen, but they're not ready to be great players yet. And I'd say Amani Bates has been okay. Jalen Duren's been okay. But you're playing grown men, and it's just I don't know. I don't think people hype up coaching, and coaching is super important, but the players have to play at the end of the day, and they don't play winning basketball. They really don't.
A lot of that's discipline, though.
Yeah.
And that is coaching.
No doubt.
So I don't have all the numbers in front of me, but just off of watching them, there doesn't seem to be they jump to pass, they take bad shots. They don't make the extra pass. They don't
really run anything on offense either. I mean,
nothing.
I'm still not sure what they run, to be honest.
Nothing. What are they trying to do is my big question. You have a beast with Jalen Duren. You don't have a pure point guard. So why are you just trying to let guys make plays? Why don't you put guys in position to where they can be successful? And Memphis just hasn't done that. Now, I will say this, the discipline thing is an issue because they even when they do shoot it well, like they did tonight, Robbie, there's no consistency in how they're getting their looks.
Yeah.
So it's hard for their guys to know how to play with each other. So it's and then, they're bickering whenever, they get in their free throw line. They're all frustrated. Every one of them are frustrated because there doesn't seem to be anybody to just say, hey, this is what we're going to do. And this is how we're going to do it. You would hope Alex Lomax would do that. He's one of the oldest guys there. They just don't have it. And when you don't have clear roles and you don't have a pure point guard, this is what you get with a Memphis team. And it kind of goes back to, their best players are really, really young. Imani Bates is really, really young. Jalen Duren, he looks like a grown man, still really young. We kind of forget to let freshmen be freshmen.
Mature.
I'm just scared that Memphis is going to let this get away from them. Yeah, mentally they're young. And they make young mistakes. They make a lot of young mistakes. Guy goes up, gets fouled, throws it up at the rim. Jalen Duren tries to block it. Like, plays over. Like, why even risk a goaltending call? So it's just little things like that as a guy that used to play, it would drive me crazy. They're just really undisciplined.
Well, you wonder how long does it take to deprogram those bad AU habits?
They look like an AAU team right now.
Right.
That's what they look like without a summer to prepare.
Hey, I'm going to say this. They are in serious jeopardy. Now, they're lucky they've got 2 games middle of December that are almost must wins at this point. Alabama, Tennessee. Because if you lose those, we made the comp of the ACC to the AAC, you're going to have the same problem that the ACC is going to have. You'll have to sweep Houston, and you'll have to hope that Wichita State is in that NCAA tournament conversation. Otherwise, you're just not going to have opportunities to get quality wins.
Let me ask you this. Why, Robbie, why aren't they running offense? Because their defense is so good when they get set up in the half court. So, why wouldn't you dribble it? Why wouldn't you take the air out of the ball a little bit? Instead of Earl Timberlake thinks he's the best player on the team. Like, the way he plays.
If you watched them for the last couple of years, it's been a lot of unsure pick and roll. I mean, swing the ball around the perimeter. It's been a struggle to watch.
They don't move off the ball.
I don't know the answer to that question. I don't. I think if you did, or if any of us did, we'd be making a lot more money than we are coaching.
That's a good. Well, another thing they don't move off the ball for shit.
Yeah, they don't.
Like, those guys don't know how to. They have a bunch of guys that don't know how to play without the ball, and the only one that can is Lester Quiones. He's the only one that kind of understands gaps, how to move off the ball when a guy penetrates, and he's the one he's really the only one that kind of capitalizes off that. Like, Imani probably could.
So that is the coach's fault, because you have to be able to put a team together with pieces that fit. And to me, that's coaching, that's staff. Obviously, they've had some turnover lately among their staff, but that's on Penny Hardaway to me. You better get the pieces that fit. You can't, again, I go back to it. You can't have where your point guard is Alex Lomax this year, or you're talking about having to put Imani Bates as a freshman when he's never played the point, and thinking about playing him at the point this year.
Stop that stuff. Like, stop trying to make dudes what they're not. Right. Like, you got Imani Bates. If you want to have him dribble the ball up the court and just call him a point guard, there's a big difference, Robbie and Jeff. Like, there's a big difference in bringing the ball up and then calling a play and being a freaking point guard.
Right.
Like, they're not the same thing. And they don't have a single guy on that team. And they have a bunch of guys that, like, if you're going to let them go and let them play and try to run some motion stuff and all that stuff, you better have guys that try to think about the next guy. Yeah. And I'm not sure they have one guy on that team that thinks about the next guy. They have a bunch of really talented dudes that don't know how to play without the basketball. And quite frankly, whenever teams can load up on the ball, like Iowa State did, they did a great job of this. They loaded up on the ball and they're like, we're going to make you guys make decisions. And they couldn't. And that's what happened up in Brooklyn.